Hi, welcome to day 4 of the candles. Can you believe it's just moving right along? And today, my guest is Jean Oristano, who you may not know. She's in a lot of chats. She does a lot of different things. And she's going to explain how she sees us changing in the world right now. Say hi, Jean, and then we're going to the table.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. And thank you, Nancy Jean, for inviting me.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Anyway, we're going to light the candles. And if you've been here before, you know these are selenites and they're actually chiseled. This is carved by the sand, the blowing winds. This little rose, desert roses, they're called. The wind swirls around them, and they have them a lot in Oklahoma. You just go along and find those on the ground. They're magical, wonderful stones that are whipped up in the desert, just like our little cacti that are symbols for this, our cactus of resourcefulness, and how to learn how to stand on our own, be a little bit prickly, and get done what we need to get done. So, okay. I'm going to go light the candles. Day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. Whoops, 4 didn't go. I'm going to have to pull it over to me because it's not cooperating. There it goes. That's day 4. And we light these candles to help focus our consciousness and to appreciate how, when we join ourselves together with our intentions and other like-minded beings, we are prepared to move Gaia, Mother Earth, and the new Earth into the emerging planetary patterns. First, by centering each individual's vibes into the coming times, and then by living with awareness of our own strength, that is part of the energy of the new Earth. We will feel free to romp and play in these uncharted seas in the coming times. And with that, that's why we lit the candles. That's why we're here. And now I'd like Jean to talk to us about Jean. I've met Jean through readings, through contacts, conversations, a lot of different stuff. She's, in the last few years, changed her career path a great deal. She's gone into aromatherapy, Reiki, and a bunch of other stuff. She'll talk about that. She's got some really impressive ideas on setting up a healing center. And I just think she should be an inspiration to all people who say, oh, I just can't drop everything and go do this. Well, maybe you can if you think about it. And she also competitively ballroom dances, which I think is just incredible because I have 2 left feet. And so anyway, Jean, a woman of many accomplishments, is going to talk to us now about her perspective on our changing times. Go.
Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. What I am is an empath, an energy healer of 2 modalities, 20 years of touching spirit with Elizabeth K. Stratton. And I just earned my Reiki level 2, and I'm working towards my master healer Reiki certification. I'm an intuitive. I am an evidential medium. I'm learning under Carol Massey to improve those skills. I am a certified aromatherapist with Aroma Head Institute. I am a plant kingdom communicator. I learned that through the Northwest School of Aromatic Medicine with Evan Silvestri. I'm an angel card reader under Kyle Gray. I'm a jeweler with lots of teachers, and I make custom energy jewelry that fit my clients' needs. And Nancy Jean is an inspiration there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an artist. So, Nancy asked me, what am I doing during the Earth's ascension transition? And I have a list of quite a few things that I'm doing during this ascension. And part of it began during the staycation of COVID, if you will. And that was learning how to read tarot, which I use to connect to my own guides, and getting my aromatherapy certification and learning how to ascend my own energies. I make aromatherapy. I'm making my own business, 3 businesses, and creating an online store where I will be selling aromatherapy products like skincare, inhalers, soaps, salves, as well as custom energetic crystal jewelry. And I'm doing all of that with the intention of being of service to my clients for their highest and greatest good.
Mhm.
And I'm finishing my Reiki Master Teacher certification. And that's with Daphne Gilman. I'm ascending my own energy, which this is really important, via very deep meditation, using crystals like K2. I'm listening to Hertz energy music before I go to sleep with artists like Stephen Halpern and Jonathan Goldman. And I'm working even more on replacing fear with love and compassion for myself and others. And that's an ongoing process for us all, because this 3D reality is tough and we have to work on that. I'm channeling healing to Gaia and all beings that live in her or on her at various times, at least once a month. I will open up my channels from the source and use myself as a, if you will, a tube or a channel through which that energy can go directly into the core of Gaia. And that's wonderful because I get to live with that lovely energy inside of me for a while. I am channeling healing to all beings in hot spots around the world, like Ukraine and Russia. I give to Russia as well, because those boys are not there because they want to be. They're there because they have to be. And I also channel healing directly to Zelensky and Navalny to help them to be prepared for once things settle down there. I am part of energy healing groups that we raise energy and allow angelic forces to come through and to also work on these hot spots. I'm practicing good energetic and spiritual hygiene. This is something we all need to know. And as an energy healer, it's really important for me to do and to get across to all of you. Set solid energetic protection boundaries. Eat only healthy foods. Don't eat processed foods. Nothing you're allergic to or sensitive to. And I personally have to stay away from chocolate and sugar. So I do. Chocolate was my drug of choice, and I don't eat it anymore. I do ballroom dancing. I take care of my body with cross training. And I'm really careful about the media I ingest, either on TV, social media, music, any information that's coming into me. I do stay in touch with the news, but I limit how much I have to listen to. And I recommend that to a lot of people. Do your dose to learn what's happening in the world around you, but don't do too much so that you're bringing your energy down and you're not feeling well and emotionally upset because of it, because that's bringing your energy down. And I am developing, and I love this, my connection with my newest guide. I have a new guide for this time, and I'm practicing my communication with her, with using each of my clairs and how she wants to use information that's in me, like for visuals, for instance, for claircog, she'll send me old images from my past that I will relate to. For instance, with love, she sends me a Valentine's Day candy heart. When I was a little girl, my dad used to give those to all the girls in the family. He'd buy us those. And so that means love, for instance. But the reason I'm mentioning my guides is that my guides have asked me to bring today to Nancy Jean's 9 Candles is they asked me to talk to you viewers and those of you newbies or newly ascending or transforming individuals to start to seek out your own guides if you haven't connected with them already. They will help you process this energy of awakening, and they will give you support through this shift. So they asked me to tell you that the way to begin to understand what your individual learning styles are, and to use this individual learning style as your entree or your way into learning about your clairs. Now, I'm not going to assume that you know what clairs are. There are several of them, and I'll tell you about those in a second. But your learning styles are tactile, visual, auditory, and whether you learn through reading or writing. So, for instance, I'm going to use this graph, this little chart, and forgive my printer is having a problem in all my scribbles. But as you see, with our visual, it's our third eye up here, and it's an indigo color, this chakra, and it is our clairvoyance and our claircognition. So if you see in pictures, let's say you can imagine a pink elephant, or you can imagine a flame, then you are capable of learning clairvoyance. If you get information automatically, and that's something that they're developing in me even greater now, is claircognition. You just know what's happening, and you don't know why you just know. And there's an angel that, if you like to work with archangels or angels, Archangel Raziel, whose name means a secret of God, he will help you to develop your claircognition and your clairvoyance. You can practice it by imagining, using your imagination to see pictorials. You can work with your guides once you have that connection and ask them to send symbology to you with specific things. Say, I want to know what the image for love is. I want to know what the image for peace is. It's very simple. Just use a one-word thing and they will send you an image. If you sit in deep meditation and allow it, you have to allow and surrender to the image that's coming to you to allow it in. Okay. With the auditory, this is your throat chakra, and it is involves clairaudience, where you hear things in your inner ear inside your mind, and there are some that hear things outside themselves, but more often we hear it within our own ear. Nancy Jean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you mostly receive it by hearing inside
I hear a lot of stuff. I kind of get it. I take wherever it comes from.
Oh, okay. All right. She's high octane, guys. She's way up there already.
No.
Yeah. Also clairgustience. That's when you taste something. You imagine you're tasting something. That's another way to get information. And then there's clairalience. Like, for instance, when I'm doing mediumship, sometimes I'll smell a cigar from the soul that's crossed over, and I know that that person smokes cigars or cigarettes or marijuana. It could be anything. I do smell things. And the archangel that controls this particular chakra is thought to be, well, I've had Michael as one came up because this is also truth, the chakra of truth. It's turquoise in color or sky blue, depending on who you read and what book you look into. And then recently I just discovered Archangel Haniel, who is divine communication through clear perception.
She's my archangel.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow. Okay. All right. And you can see Nancy Jean works with an archangel. And you can ask Archangel Haniel to help you to hear a specific sound. Or you can practice by sitting quietly in meditation and try to push your hearing out farther and farther and farther away from you physically in this world. And what's the farthest sound you are aware of, and try to go farther still. So that's a way to practice that. The other one is reading and writing is similar to I would also associate it with my throat chakra, but I also associate it with kinesthetic or tactile. If you're a tactile visual learner, this would be both, I think, a blend of your throat chakra and your heart chakra. For feelings, it's generally your heart chakra, but it can also be your second chakra. I feel most of my emotions through all my guidance in my heart. And this is called clairsentience.
Mhm.
And if you're an empath, you know what clairsentience is. You can feel other people's emotions in the room. And if you are new to discerning between your emotion and the other person's emotion, that's where your work has to begin
Mhm.
energetically. I will tell you after I'm done what it feels like to actually bring that down into you. But the archangels associated with this chakra is Archangel Raphael, love and healing. And because this is the green chakra of the body, it's an emerald green. Ray is what they can also call them. And I also, for people who are clearing out old emotional patterns and making room for their own spiritual growth, and they're raising up their energy, I also recommend Archangel Azrael, who
Mhm.
is for grief. His energy, I have to tell you, he's one of my favorites. He is strong. I'm getting chills now. He is, and so this is an important one for everybody, I think, today. He is an extremely strong angel and very gentle. He
Mhm.
is the most comforting of angels because I've worked with him for my own work. He's important for support during that grief, and he will be there for you like no one else. So I just love his energy. And he's there for grief and loss of loved ones as well. So if you've lost loved ones, he's a really wonderful support energetically and spiritually as well. Regarding clairsentience, I did an image of it, and I'm going to try to describe it. If you think of your lungs filling with air when you inhale, your lungs fill up from below all the way to the edges of the interior of your lungs. And then it moves up higher, higher, higher until it's the top of your lungs. And then you exhale and it all pushes down and out. Well, let's imagine with clairsentience, it's in reverse. I open my seventh chakra after I've set protection around me in my room. I make sure that my intention is that I am safe and only in 100% divine energy. You can use crystals that Nancy Jean can recommend to you, and or one of her wonderful grids that I can recommend to you, because I have 3 of them. And I want another one someday when I open up my brick and mortar office. But anyways, you set your protection and your intention to connect with your guides. You ground to the earth. You open to your spirit guides, and you allow the light of the divine to come down and through you as protection. White light of the divine, connecting you down into the earth through both your hara line and through your chakra system. Study up on your chakra system if you do not know about them. I can recommend a lot of books. If you want to contact me, you have my contact information. But anyways, what it feels like when it comes in for me, it's a pressure that comes. First, it tickles. I can feel it tickling right here, right now, as I'm talking about it. And then I'll ask my guide to come in, and I'm going to ask her to come in now so I can describe the process as I'm with you. And she's saying hi, and I'm getting chills from her. Very gently, I feel like from all the sides of my head and the whole interior of my body, I feel a light pressure that is her frequency coming down and connecting to mine. And she's going through my third eye, going down through my throat, and I'm getting chills all the way through and down and through my chest. So she's really happy to show you guys this. Yeah, big affirmation chills. She's sending you all love. So that is a basic primer for what I think we should be doing now. That will help everybody who's new or developing
Mhm.
through the energy systems.
Well, I'll tell you about guides. I used to read at psychic fairs in the 70s, and everybody had guides, and they were always the Pharaoh's daughter or an Indian chief or something. And I was just like, really? And I was like, it's not that I sensed they were there, but it wasn't like I was going to take them home to be their best bud. And so it wasn't until I went to see Brian Weiss on a past lives lecture where he mass hypnotized a room of 800 people 5 times in one day.
Wow.
And the first one he did, he took us back to look at a past life. And I was so glad I had my watch on because I didn't think I'd gone anywhere. I mean, there was just like, I was there, there's a blank. Then he was saying, okay, now we're going to do this. And I understood that there was supposed to be something in between. I would not have known if I didn't have my watch on. And we've been out for about 15 minutes. So then the next time he said, and I mean, we're sitting in a ballroom in a hotel in Austin, Texas, and you all know how comfortable those banquet chairs are. You know, I'm like, oh,
So you'd stay awake normally.
so the next time he did it, he said, "Well, now we're going to go meet our guides." And I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, maybe I should have tried to contact him before now. Anyway, I closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew, I was standing in a pre-colonial Southern kitchen, and I was standing next to a very tall, statuesque African American woman, and that's Addie, and she's my guide. And I looked at her and I go, "Oh, hi, I'm Nancy Jean. Who are you?" And she said, "I know who you are." And I said, "Well, name?" And she said, "It's Addie." And I said, "I know how to put this, but I've just kind of avoided getting down and talking to you and having you be a personification." And she said, "It's okay. You did everything I needed you to do." Okay.
You've been doing your
So
homework.
yeah. So she's as hard ass about that as I am. Anyway, so Addie became a feature in my life, and we had a conversation, and she did explain. The only thing I could think to ask her is, "Why am I here? If you came in with me, you must have a better idea." So she walked me across this enormous kitchen to a corner cupboard, and corner cupboards in colonial times were literally cupboards that made a triangle that went deep into the corner. That cabinet that you can't ever get into in your kitchen. And she said, "Open it up." And I opened it up, and it looked like, if you have to be as old as I am to remember this, but Fibber McGee's closet. This was a mythical closet on radio where things would just fall out of it. And you knew he just took everything and just stuffed it in there and slammed the door. And I looked at her and I said, "This is a mess. What's the deal?" And she said, "That's your job, is to take people off, make them look at what's not in good order, and try to help them figure out a way to make it orderly."
Mm.
And I thought, well, that's a lovely job. And we talked a little bit more. And then I woke up and I was in the ballroom with 800 other people who had also apparently gone off to see their guides. I'm sure many of them not for the first time, but me for the first time. And so I started a dialogue with Addie. So, and I was 69 when I did that. So you can, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So you're never too old. And once you find one, the other ones will sneak in and they'll start telling you what's going on. But I didn't appreciate what Addie said as much until I was talking to friends, and they said, "Well, what did she say?" And when I told them about the closet in the corner, they went, "Yeah, that pretty much exactly describes what you do right now." And that's with my gifts at the time. That's what I was doing mostly. So um, don't, if you want to avoid your guides, avoid your guides. I'm not going to tell you not to live the life I've lived. And I don't know, like Addie said, I did everything she wanted me to, so I didn't miss much. But Jean's giving you some really good advice if you're a newbie, even if you've been around, kicking around for a while, because I've been reading tarot since I was 12 and didn't bother to go find a guide till I was 69. I mean, I knew they were there and I understand it. But I think Jean's right. She's opened herself up to angels and crystals and all kinds of thoughts, beliefs. And there's some things I'll read and I'll go, no, that doesn't fit right with me right now. But it doesn't mean it won't forever. Anyway, and so that's what I wanted to bring Jean on in the Nine Candles, because so many people at this point are crossing that line. When we hit the sun going into Aries on the 21st of March, right after the equinox on the 20th, the earth has gotten its lines straight. Are you getting your lines straight? You know, and we're going to tumble off into these wonderful things at 0 degrees of Aries. And it's really going to start to be a whole new world. Things are going to start to be revealed. That has a lot to do with Pluto making its first little foray into Aquarius and becoming like Pluto plowed up all of the old structures. And Pluto moves very slowly. So when it goes, it's 28 years or something. It's just an incredible amount of time. And it plowed up the old structures. If you look back to where things were 28 years ago and where they are now, a whole lot shifted and changed. And I think the more you feel like you control it, I read people and I kind of tell them what the cards say for me to them, and then I try to talk to them about it. But you should be working with your own decks, your own things, your own ideas. And there are a lot of good teachers around, and you can put together a pretty good education without buying a lot of classes, although I definitely always supporting the readers. But you can, right now, there's just so much information tumbling out. And we should need to be ready for it and use it to the best of our advantage. Did you have you're going to open a healing center. You've got like the space and the place and all that stuff, but not tomorrow.
The healing, I am online. I am doing just Zoom right now. I am going to be building my home first, and then I will see, I will be opening it or be part of a healing center.
Okay.
That's my plan.
So that's why I wanted to have Jean here. I also wanted to have her, I asked her if she'd do what I've done a couple times during the candles. We're going to pull a card. And I pulled today for us from the wild elementals, the salmon.
Pretty.
Isn't he pretty? And the salmon's attributes are the value of returning home, successfully swimming upstream through the emotions, understanding divine messages, and rebirth of spiritual knowledge. So it's just perfect with what you've been talking about. And when we see salmon swimming into your life, you're being shown that the struggle you are facing may seem insurmountable, but just know that the most resistance, you get your most resistance just before you really succeed. Do not give up. Put all your faith, power, passion, and energy into achieving what you have been working towards. Going against the stream while exhausting at times also brings you the experience of the journey that forced you to go on to be able to control your pride and to have accomplishments. Make sure that you're able to detach yourself from the emotions that have been weighing you down, because that's normally what we're swimming upstream to get away from.
And I have something similar.
Oh, okay.
This is from Raven Digital's Exploring the Empath Oracle. I love her artwork. This is number 11, cleansing. Oops, too close, sorry. Cleansing mind, body, and spirit, which is what I was talking about with spiritual hygiene. Preparing your energy to receive the upgrades that you're going to get. The essential themes of this card are contemplating how we are keeping up with our mental, physical, and spiritual wellness, analyzing our environments and what we choose to consume, and that includes all digital information, taking a rejuvenating break from the daily grind. And I want to add maybe winnowing out the negative individuals in your life as well, or creating good boundaries with them so that they're not overwhelming you with all their negativity. So deeper meanings to this card are, and this is an empath oracle, so she begins, my beloved fellow empaths, it cannot be emphasized enough. Cleansing the mind, body, and spirit on a regular basis is of ultimate importance. We absorb emotions and sensations from the outside world at such a fast rate that it's often dreadfully difficult to keep up. That is why we must set an intentional practice of purification. Just like we put oil in our car and give it a wash when dirty, our own personal upkeep allows us to continue functioning in a healthy way. Multi-level upkeep is a process of self-purification. When we learn to develop stronger love and value for our empathic gifts, we become naturally inclined toward our own holistic maintenance. We have a duty to help others. So we got to keep ourselves in good working order.
That's true. Okay, well, now we're going to go back to the table and blow out the candles. And I just can't thank Jean enough for coming here and sharing her experiences with us so that we can all benefit from it. So this is day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. And if you're lighting candles along with me and you're doing 9, please remember to blow them out every day or you won't have 9 candles at the end. Short a few, it won't matter. It's light is light and things are important. And with that, I want to say good night. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 Central Time again, and we'll be day 5. And
Bye, everyone.
bye-bye.